on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who are trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I have got my mic working straight away, and I have failed to set my camera up properly. Sorry, been a mad Monday evening, getting a number of things ready, reinstalling OBS for the 4th week in a row. Oh, don't ask me about my computer woes, if I know works in technology. Firstly, can you guys hear me? Is the audio okay? I'm looking at John, who's promised to send me abuse if it doesn't work. Yes, awesome. Alright, so guys, welcome to round 3 of Coat 6, or 6.3 as I call it. It's the 21st of September. We are now over the halfway point before the top cut, so we will have, well, not quite over halfway, in a couple of days we'll be having 5 rounds before the top cut. Oh, I only get secret abuse, that's a shame, John. I prefer it to be public. There's 13 people here watching the stream. We've just completed commentating 6 games from round 2. Team Exalted Balding Edition, I love that Balding Edition, versus Team Archimedes, who were the winners of Coat 1. So Team Archimedes won Coat 1. Team Exalted, as I announced on the commentating stream, is actually won what can be referred to as Coat 0, which was the event we did before Coat kicked off. And we played against one of the Gran Canaria, the Gran Canaria teams, and they actually won 6 games to 0, 3 games to 2, or whatever it was. I think it was a 5-man team at that point. But yeah, so it was great to see these 2 games in action. The recordings are currently going to be on Twitch in a few minutes, and they're going to be on YouTube tomorrow. Watch, follow, great. If you'd like to record your games for us to sort of commentate and tear apart in a nice, helpful, polite way, or just talk over, let us know, get the recordings in. Brett will do his best to then, he's on a process now for getting it right for us commentating. Or if you want to come on and be a guest commentator, you're more than welcome to come on, and it's good to see people there. So, tonight, as I just pull my notes back up, firstly, I managed to unmute the microphone, which is my first to-do action. This week we had a Meet the Team video from the London Urchins. Brett's been doing an amazing job producing material here. We're going to try and do a Meet the Team video every week. We've done 3 so far now. So we've done Team SAS, Team SAS, Sloppy Rabwork USA. We've done the London Urchins last week, and we intend to get one more this week. We are talking about doing a Meet the Mod set of videos as well. Just so you guys know who we are and put sort of name to a face other than me and Brett. So there is actually a team of, I think now, 7 of us behind the scenes arguing how we should run this. And we're keen to just keep getting materials in. This is a community event, and it's a community event spreading all around the world, from the UK to Australia to Argentina to Canada to Hong Kong. And so I still want to keep everyone friendly and together. And Brett, we will definitely get you talking to yourself. So this is an event. This event will always be free to play. It always will be not pay to win any more than Keyforge normally is. I could just see Brett now arguing himself between 2 accounts. Oh god. But we have now set up a Patreon. Now you can find a link to the Patreon in the chat below. I'm hoping Brett will paste the link in as well. Now the Patreon is, if you can spare a couple of quid, our cheapest entry is £2 a month. This will go towards paying the artists, both who do the work, paying for prize support. I'm hoping if we can get going, we can get some better equipment, better microphones. But it's, again, this will not change. If we get no traction and no one buying in, the events will still continue. But if you feel you can chuck in a couple of quid, maybe 1 less deck a month, give us a tenner, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you're someone who's a little bit more flush, we have some sort of merch that you'll get and qualify for, mugs, stickers, all that good stuff. We are putting up there our current ramblings and thoughts for Coach 7. Though we say it's exclusive content, we fully expect the first person and possibly only patron supporter to sign up to go and tell everyone else, and we don't have a problem with that. And also, anything we say on the Patreon is subject to change. It's not a firm commitment. It's just so you can see how the process is working behind the scenes. Next up, we have... we're going to try and put on another Keyforge quiz. Now, we did one back in May. We had, I think, 19-20 people watch. We had it sponsored. That was sponsored by Burger Tokens. We've probably got a sponsor lined up for that now. The quiz is going to probably be not this Friday, but the following Friday. But we still need to sort out one or two more things. But that will come in. It'll be 4 rounds. We'll hopefully have some prize support. Come on, it'll be a general Keyforge knowledge quiz. Possibly with a round on other things, all things board game and card game related. I'm going to ask a couple of people to assist me with that who they don't know about this yet, John. But it'll be good to get some people on board and just have some fun. Bring a couple of beers. Don't bring a couple of beers. Bring some beverages of your choice and have a laugh and see how we get on. So that's probably not going to be this Friday, but the Friday afterwards. I think that's the first Friday of October. Meet the teams, as I said, that's going to be coming through. Coach 7 is now confirmed you are going to run it. We have a sponsor who is prepared to put in prizes. So Crazy Killing Machine are sponsoring Coach 6. And thank you, Carl, for everything you do. You have made everything so much easier. Firstly, by giving us Simon, and secondly, by giving us web hosting. And you guys are doing a great job. But the Coach 7 is still going to have Crazy Killing Machine involved as they are today, but we will be announcing the sponsor for that once we get to the end of Coach 6. And it will probably be Dex, but we're just sort of crossing the I's and dotting the T's on what that will be. I've seen one thing that's been proposed, and we'll see what we can get through. We will announce the format at the end of the group stages, before the top cut, so hopefully everyone will have 4 or 5 weeks. And this time we will have a 1-week break between the final and the start of the next event, or my wife said she'll kill me. So she wants a week off for me doing this on a Monday night. So we will have that break in between, but we'll finalise all dates and everything like that closer to the time. Next, we have Can't Touch This, as we announced last week, are running a competition on what happens next with a couple of board positions. This entry closes on Friday, with a winner to be announced on Saturday. Yes, if I die, I'm glad to see you're not on my memory, Brett, by having a Game of Thrones style admin fight for control. That is how I would like to be remembered, and most of all, I want you to see authentic weaponry and somehow how Brian and Rick will cross the world to come and get you guys. My money's on Rick winning overall. But as I was saying, Can't Touch This, have the contest running. Brett will put a link in the chat now. This will be available to everyone to enter. The prize, so when everyone who enters the exact correct answer to what is the best play in this position will be entered into a draw, and the winner of that draw will receive a Polish deck posted to them. And it's awesome of them, and we think this is brilliant. Brett and I have done a stream and are thinking about what we're going to do. I can safely say I'm going to go out there and say that what we have said is not the winning answer, and I might get told off for that. But it's a very interesting experiment, and Brett was much closer than I was, as I would expect. I'll get told off for saying they are not the winning answers that we have, but they go on, have a think, break it down, and see what. And we're going to announce, post a video of the announcement of the winner probably on Saturday or Sunday, depending on when we get the answers, and we will go through the answers, and I'll announce again on the stream next Monday. So the last thing is, before we get to the actual draw, which is why 19 of you are still watching me rambling on, is the website will be updated now first thing Tuesday mornings. We will go through the pairings now. We will go through what the current standings of each group are now, but the website will be updated first thing tomorrow morning just because of getting the webmaster's time to do this. So, what I'm going to try and do now is something slightly different. I'm not going to go through all the results. I'm going to go through all the tables and discuss who's currently winning the tables, and then I'll pull up the pairings for each house as we go through. So, this is where I wish I had more than 3 monitors, just because I always need more space. So, first of all, we have Untamed. So this is the Untamed. This is the Untamed bracket, or group. So here we can see currently we have Sloppy Labwork USA, totaling with 2 match wins, 5 games and 17 keys. Now, they're only a key have of control the leak, but the Tubular Time Hogs are also 1 game behind that. So currently, I'd say the winner here is anyone to play for in the next few rounds. At the other end of selections, we got Niffle Disobedience, the Wookalars. They seem to be having fun when we're talking to them, and that's the most important thing. So just to quickly go through the pairings for them, and I need to pull up the right sheet, this is Untamed, master spreadsheet in the background now. So this week, Control the Leak are going to play Sloppy Labwork USA. Gaming Gear Birmingham will be playing Team Wormhole Technician. Jabbergrammer will be playing the Wookalars. Niffle Disobedience will have the bye, so congratulations on the win. If you'd like to please submit the bye, I would enjoy that. Rocket Boots S will be playing Team Weekend. Sloppy Labwork USA, winners of the previous event and interviewed by us not last week, week before, are playing Control the Leak. Team Weekend versus Rocket Boots. Team Wormhole Technician versus Gaming Gear Birmingham. The Final Swindle versus the Tubular Time Hogs. And the Wookalars versus Jabbergrammer. So that's the Untamed group. And they will be put live on the website tomorrow morning. And one thing I want to add here, is why I'm going through this, is I've had 0 late games submitted and 0 excuses and 0 no-shows yet. And I've been politely pushed by nearly everybody to keep this group system in place in the future. We have been requested to open up the European groups, so we might have multiple groups in Europe, but not mandated by country, because the French teams would like to have more opponents, which makes sense. And so this is what we're looking at for Coach 7. This format seems to be people seem to be appealed to, so we're going to keep going with this. So next we come up with the house disc. Now Manchester Mavericks B. Manchester Mavericks B is, I think, the primary top talent Manchester Mavericks team. These guys are always impressive. And here you can see 2 match wins, 5 games and 17 keys. Now, let's be frank, they've only missed 1 key so far. And great. And Hamburg Atlanteans as well, another team that's come very high in previous events. And they're all 3 of these are equal. We have Can't Touch This, the Urchins, the organisers of the Can't Touch This competition as well, are all at the top of this group. I mean, but it's still only one to play for. I mean, we're only 2 or 5 rounds in, so it's, though the winner will be on potentially 5-0, you're still got a chance to make the top finals if you come 2nd or 3rd. So 4 wins and you'll still be in the runnings. So it's great to see this is going so well. So Team Dis's pairings for this round are, I need to make this alphabetical order. Brain Games LV versus Portuguese Generosity. Can't Touch This versus Manchester Mavericks B. Hamburg Atlanteans 1 have the bye, which doesn't make sense. I will need to redraw this team, and I will fix this and publish this tomorrow, because I don't know why Hamburg Atlanteans have the bye. So let me redraw that later. That missed my sanity check, and I will fix that later. Apologies. We are now going to move on to, next we have F7, Mars team. To see anything embarrassing here. Yep, this is one I did check. I thought I checked them all. Apologies about that. This is why pairings go up tomorrow. Yes, not at all because of Simon's availability, so we can double check the last bits. So, the Mars group. Now, this is the French group primarily with a couple of overflows in it, with Spanish and some UK overflows. But they get to the Switch. Great team. Paris-based, and I think the French Keys are also from Paris, and I think the Starship Looters are also from Paris, and I think the Forest Defenders are also from Paris. L'Armada and Brez, I don't think they are from Paris, but I can see why they would like a slightly wider group going forward. But again, you can see 3 teams here on 2 match wins from 5 games. They're not all on 17 keys, but it's damn close, and it's anyone's game to come. So Mars group is going to be Baguette and Switch versus Starship Looters, Barcelona Mermooks Beerforge versus Keyforge Granada, Keyforge Granada versus Barcelona Mermooks Beerforge. It's a combination of Barcelona Mermooks and Beerforge, those. L'Armada Ombrez versus Manchester Mavericks D. L'Espoir versus the Forest Defenders. Yes, I am paranoid and checking this as I go through every line. Manchester Mavericks D versus L'Armada Ombrez. Moonkeys had the bye, which is good because they're at the bottom. Seeker Noodles versus the French Keys. Starship Looters versus Baguette and Switch. Forest Defenders versus L'Espoir. And the French Keys versus Seeker Noodles. So, moving on to Sanctum and the pairings. No, the Barcelona Mermooks are not French. Well done, Brett. So moving on to Sanctum here. This is where we have Reapout, and we've just commentated their 3-0 win over Team Saz. Reapout and Team Saz are 2 of the more commonly known teams, I'd say, in the world over the last 2 months. New York City, though, we've seen playing here regularly. Great guys from New York. I can't wait to get back out there and meet them. Last time I was out there, unfortunately, there was no Keyforge games when I was there. Because it was the same time as the Vault Tour at Gen Con, if I remember correctly. OG Midwest Mavericks, thank you for 2 teams calling themselves the same name. That made life so much easier. But this is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and we may need to add more sanity checking. But all 3 guys on 2 wins, 2 match wins to 0 losses, high number of keys, and they're just being broken here by the total number of keys. So look at the Sanctum draw. So, we got ABR versus Sanctimonious, which makes sense. We got Baywitch versus Team Saz. Team Saz have the pair down. New York City versus OG Midwest Mavericks. OG Midwest Mavericks versus New York City. Reapout versus Team Wormhole Bootkin. Sanctimonious versus ABR Smoky Bears. Team Saz LP versus Baywitch. Team Wormhole Bot Bootkin versus Reapout. The Final Swindle Alpha versus the Unicorn Squad, which obviously puts the Unicorn Squad versus the Final Swindle Alpha. So moving on to the Saurians. Where's my mouse? Cool, we are looking okay. That's right, so here we have, as ever, 3 teams at the top. But here the interesting thing is the first time, and I think the only time, we actually have 2 teams that are on 6-0 to game wins. So the Hamburg Lanterns 2 and Autocannons are currently top of the overall competition if we combine all the groups. Now, maybe it was a lucky pairing in the grouping, because there was quite a lot of randomness while trying to put these together, but well done for them to be 6-0, even if it's just the pairings. So this time, the pairings will be Autocannons versus Soul Snatchers. And just in case anyone's wondering, when we do the pairings, we just look at the match wins. We ignore game wins and total keys, and then we randomly select. And I just need to work out why my script put the bar in the wrong place in the previous one. Bootcamp X versus Hamburg Atlanteans 2. Can't Touch This The Walls versus Celefamo. Celefamo versus Can't Touch This The Walls. Furry Muscles versus Not Finished With Your Mum. The winners of a previous coat, Not Finished With Your Mum. Hamburg Atlanteans 2 versus Bootcamp X. Manchester Mavericks C have the bye. No Canafants in Austria 1 versus Trailer Park Boys from Greece. Not Finished With Your Mum from Italy versus Fairy Muscles from Italy. It's the Italian playoffs here. Soul Snatchers from Greece versus Autocannons. And Trailer Park Boys versus No Canafants in Austria. So moving on to Shadows. This is one of the UK groups, and we've just also commentated on the Team Exalted Bolden edition, beating Team Archimedes. Well done, guys, we can do this. As you can hear, I'm completely impartial. Hey, Callum's One day I'll be allowed to talk, but until then. But the impressive thing here is we have a team Exalted, top of the group. And then second we have SCS Steelers, who are only one game behind, and then there's only 2 overall with 2-0 in this match. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Imperial Traitors and the Nottingham Anomalies, unfortunately, at the bottom of the table. Yeah, it's very suspicious. So looking at the pairings of this time, we have BBB versus Team Archimedes. We have... No, we don't. Yes, we do. So then we have Bootcamp X Team 2 versus Can't Touch This. Then we have London Urchins versus Nottingham Anomalies. Manchester Mavericks A versus Screech Bomb. Is that better? And then we have Nottingham Anomalies versus London Urchins. Screech Bomb versus Manchester Mavericks A. SCS Steelers versus Team Exalted Boarding Edition. Team Archimedes versus BBB. And Team Exalted versus SCS Steelers. Yeah, I have seen Scott Pilgrim. It was a long time ago. But bomb. I'll just keep going and get beaten by you every week. It'll be easier. Moving on next, we have that one. No, I abandoned the full screen button and the change to the same key. So we have the house logos. Now this is our smaller group because this is the Asia Pacific group. I didn't want to start putting any teams from other parts of the world to balance this group out. So if you want to go for the worldwide stages, we've got one group that is multi-countries and a few extra people from the US, because most of the multi-country teams are in the US. There are a few Europeans in there, but mostly are in that time zone. But the AP group has 8 players just to keep it separated out. Now this is the Asia Pacific group plus All For One Gaming, who I shanghaied into the Singapore team, so they needed one more. So on the whole, the time zones are easier, apart from for Brett. But Team Fat Boys HK and HK Mavericks are top of the table here. They're currently both on 2 match wins, only 5 games for 4 games apiece, but it's still a pretty impressive sight. Yes, Brett, you're special. And the pairings of this time will be GFC03 versus Team Labworks, so that's Australia versus Hong Kong. Hypno Keyforge, which is Singapore and Brett, versus Team Sloppy Labwork, Hong Kong. Skippy Time Ruse from Australia versus Team Wormhole from Hong Kong. Team Fat Boys from Hong Kong versus Team HK Mavericks. So the 2 top teams playing against. It'll be good to see that game. And so on. Team Labwork versus GFC03. Team Sloppy Labwork versus Hypno Keyfrogs. And Team Wormhole versus Skippy Time Ruse. And then finally, I'm hoping the last house, apart from the one I've got to go back and do the redraw for. Let me just check this before I do this. No. Top of the table, we have Christoph's team, No Canifants in Austria. And they are top equal with Ganymede Archivists. Obviously, they'll be playing each other because they're only 2 on 2 apiece. And this is the worldwide group, which is any multi-country teams, plus a few others that from Argentina, Canada, we've put in there. So, we have Allied Archons, which cover US, France, and Switzerland, versus Tomateos. I hate you guys. Coast to Coast, thank you, from the US, versus Grand Earth Alliance. CR7 Ghost Hawks from Canada and Portugal versus Midwest Mavericks. Ganymede Archivists, Canada versus No Canafanx and Austria 2. Grand Earth Alliance, Israel, US and Canada versus Coast to Coast. La Forja Latina, Argentina versus Oca... I hate you guys. Oca de Vicado, also from Argentina. Midwest Mavericks from the US versus CR7 Ghost Hawks. No Canafanx in Austria 2. Germany, Italy and Canada versus Ganymede Archivists. Oca Verdicado for Argentina versus La Forja Latina, Argentina. And Tomateos. Did I get that one right? No abuse coming from the chat as far as I can see, from the US versus the versus the Allied Archons UA. So that's all the draws in place. The website will be updated tomorrow. I will go through and work out how the hell that one went wrong with the buy. and it'll be updated by the time everything is published tomorrow. Apologies for that. That completes everything I've got to talk about here. We have the Patreon, which I hope you guys will go and look at and consider if you can spare it. Spare some cash. Otherwise, thanks for watching. What are the set pairings? Oh, fair point. I'm hoping you could work out by a process of elimination that this time it is going to be mass mutation versus... I'm now paranoid, guys, so let me just double check what my notes say. Yes, this is me typing, not for effect. So this round will be Worlds Collide versus AOA, AOA versus Worlds Collide, and Mass Mutation versus Mass Mutation. Wanted to check before I hadn't got it wrong. So we will get all this published overnight. And better not assume with you. Thanks, Brett, for the support. We will get it all done. So thanks everyone for watching. And watch the videos we're producing. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitch. The more we get followers, the more we get content and facilities we have to provide you guys. So thanks everyone, have a great day, and we'll speak to you next week.
We are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows.